Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I am your host, ABV, the one and only. Joining me, as always, is the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jessie Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
And of course, Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Deering.
Hello.
Yes, our streaming champion, Mr. Ray Apollo, couldn't join us today. He is taking time off with the family. Go get some good things. Have fun, Ray. If you're watching this, we love you.
He's not watching. He's busy.
Yeah. Yeah. But we have a great show planned for you guys. We're going to be diving into some news. And I got a good question that I want to ask the guys because there's a particular game that came out this week, and it kind of makes me like, do I like it? It may be hard to get to this one because of something in particular. But before we get into all of that, how have you guys been?
I'm doing pretty good. Tired.
Yeah, I'm tired because it's been a busy week, and then I had the flu this week, which really sucked. Like I thought I don't remember the last time I was that sick. It was bad. But after we recorded Power Block on Monday, I was kind of feeling crappy that day, and then the next 2 or 3 days I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like complete death. And then I was on the crew from the Diggity podcast was kind enough to invite me onto their show after they came on to ours, and I still feel really bad because I had to record my own audio, and the first part of it didn't record, and then they used the backup audio, and it was through my webcam, the audio, and it sucked, and I feel really bad. I feel really bad. But it was still they're a really cool group of guys, and I hope we can get them on 1v1 or Boss Rush podcast or something in the near future. They're just really, really cool dudes. So that was fun. Yes. And now I'm prepping for a busy week this coming week because I'm leaving for vacation on Thursday. And Ed, we have Mark Carabin from Co-op Mode on Power Block on Tuesday. I'm going on Secret Friends on Monday, and then Wednesday I have to make sure everything is edited because Thursday I can't do anything past Thursday.
Exactly.
And then last night, Ed, we recorded our top 25 Switch games episode for the week that I'm on vacation. So yeah, it's been a busy week. That episode last night, I was like, we're not talking about what we've been playing. There's no news to talk about because it's whatever. The show could go by in an hour and 15 minutes. It was almost 3 hours. So.
Yes.
But we each had 50 different Switch games, right? We had games that crossed over on each other's lists, but Ed had a whole list of alternates to plug in case we covered extras, and so that was. It's actually a top 50 experiences on Switch. So
that's why I said top 50 plus.
Yeah.
And I was telling Corey, Jesse, I was just like, even if we just went in with the release of Switch, just the first 9 months after it came out, that could have been the top 25 itself. There was just so much on it. And hopefully when, later on when you guys speak more on Arsenal X, that you guys do a top 25 for Xbox One, it's going to be bunkers– just with indies and third party, a lot of great games from Microsoft really did come out. Forza 4, Horizon 4. I still think Crackdown 3 is a fantastic game. Gears 4, Gears 5 is phenomenal, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go back to Crackdown 3 again because it is a really fun game to just play when you just want to do something kind of mindless and fun, it's perfect for that. It's perfect for just a chill gaming time.
Yeah. So. Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Black Ops 4, even though that's multi-platform, those two games are really good on one. And I think more people played that. I understand Modern Warfare was bought digitally a lot, but I feel like more people are playing that on Xbox in a sense. Like regardless of the exclusive, it's just like these are some great games that's on the system, and like I said, when you guys get to it, the list is going to be insane. It may be similar, but you cannot deny that Xbox One really has some great just some great titles, like I said, from third, indie, and first. Like Cuphead, heck yeah. Ori and the Blind Forest is one of the reasons why I bought it. And then when Rise of the Tomb Raider was just only exclusive to Xbox, I'm like, oh heck yeah, I have to have the system. Like,
I still think.
And for
Rise of the
me,
Tomb Raider,
it was Titanfall.
yeah.
I mean, I think I was one of the few people who played Titanfall on 360.
Yeah,
but there was such a good version of the game, though. Like, it was totally serviceable, right?
Well, see what happened for me is we didn't really like. They were way too quiet about the 360 version. They really didn't release anything, like when the initial release was coming out.
I think it didn't even come out. They pulled a Twilight Princess situation where I think the 360 version came out like 2 weeks after the original version because they wanted to put that emphasis on the Xbox One version, and and at the time people like the Xbox One was kind of like still having that negative influence, and Titanfall was supposed to be the killer app for it, right? And and if you can play that game on 360, there's no reason to upgrade to Xbox One, especially with all the issues. And you could get a 360 for like $150, and Titanfall was, it was just one of those things. But I played the 360 version because I got a PS4 before I got an Xbox One because all my friends jumped on it for Destiny, and
that was my problem. Is I didn't want to risk it, like getting a 360 version and it not being very good. And I knew I wanted an Xbox One, anyways, because like I was like, all the stuff that people got upset about and were whining about was the whole reason that I wanted the system. I wanted to have the Kinect. I wanted to have the ability to, run media into it. I wanted, I wanted all these things that it was offering, and it's funny because like I forget which show that it was. I think it was it might have been Unlocked or someone that I was listening to was talking about all these things that the PS4 was promising, and they've delivered on almost none of them. But Xbox has basically done all those things that they claimed that you would be able to do with the PS4, and it's the end of the generation, and a lot of them they still haven't done. But Xbox did all those things that they promised and more. So it's funny just going back to the initial releases. Yeah, they may have sounded better coming out of the gate, but in reality, they went back on almost everything that they promised.
Yeah.
So
the funny thing is too, like with Xbox One now, like you for like I saw this advertised somewhere. It was like $250 for an Xbox One X, Jedi Fallen Order, and there was one other game with it. I think it was like NBA 2K20 or something for $250 for an Xbox One X, those two games, and an extra controller. Like, it was awesome. Like, that's such a great deal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they get closer to the summer, I think we'll see a lot of sales and discounts happening for Xbox One X, because I think that what they're going to probably try to do is push a lot of that inventory out with bundles and everything, so that when
Mhm.
Series X come, they gonna have for retail stores that they have enough shelf space when they announce it. But before we get more to that conversation, because that's a great conversation to start the show off with, let's get into some housekeeping first. You guys can follow us on Twitter at boss_rush_games and on Facebook and Instagram at Boss Rush Games. Join our Discord, Xbox console community, and our Destiny clan. Also, live shows have returned, but not for this episode. Join us live on Mixer and Twitch. Oh, we are.
We just weren't live last night, Ed.
Oh, okay. Well, join us live on Mixer and Twitch at Boss Rush Games Live. All one word to chat with us live on air. You can also find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Pod and Play Revamp, our seasonal Let's Play show, is officially underway. Well, it's here, everybody. You can go to bossrushgames.com Saturdays from February 1st to April 4th this season, featuring games like Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Spec Ops: The Line, Monster Hunter, and more. Tweet at us what games you want to see in the upcoming seasons. Our latest episode of Ukulele and Impossible Lair is up, and me and Corey had a great time. It was really hard having that discussion while focusing on the game.
Yeah, as it turns out, playing a third-person action game is actually a lot easier to play than a side-scrolling precision platformer. So.
Yes, and I cannot wait to have evil discussion with a fellow resident, because a certain game is coming in 2 more months, and me and this person are preparing for that game.
This person
is that person one of us in this room right now?
Yes, it is. Because okay, let me finish this housekeeping, and then Jesse, because you're gonna be surprised about this. Lastly, Arsenal X has officially returned live and on podcast services Wednesday. Yes, throwing up the X. Join us on Sunday night Arsenal for the pre-show, the live podcast recording, and some multiplayer Xbox fun on Mixer and Twitch. Also, remember to check out our family of shows, podcasts, and videos on youtube.com/bossrushgames, podcast services, and of course on bossrushgames.com. I actually was, and this may tie in also into to our conversation discussion piece. I actually was thinking about Resident Evil 3 remake in a sense, and I think I just came to not my senses, but I think I just literally flip my change that I think I prefer Resident Evil 3 Nemesis over Resident Evil 2. Not the remake games, because we haven't played the remake games yet. But I think there was something about 3, and I think of playing that on Dreamcast, that really made me realize that out of the original 3 games, like the trilogy, I think Resident Evil 3 would be my number 1, Resident Evil 1 would be the second, and 2 would be my third. And I don't know why. I think 3 really just did something for me from action perspective. Like it's not too hard, it's not too long. You can beat it within 4 days, depending on what your schedule is. And I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, will I feel that same way when the remake comes out? When Resident Evil 3 remake comes out?
I don't know. I'm kind of like most people. I like 2 the most, obviously, but like the thing is I played 3, but I don't know if I've ever beaten it. I'm trying to think. It would have been a long time ago.
Yeah, same here, because I beat it on Dreamcast, and I was just like, I know, like from 4 up, I have a different number with that, but I'm just like, out of the original 3 games, 1, 2, and 3, I'm like, I think I like Nemesis more over 2. And don't get me wrong, 2 is fantastic. I played 2 on GameCube, so I enjoyed it there, which is weird. I played most of the.
Did you play the remake though? Did you play the remake of 2?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. You played it. You played it though.
Yes.
Did you beat it?
Oh, Not yet. I've still got. I still got to beat it. I still got some things I got to do in it. I was playing it because I think I was. I think something else came out around that time when Resident Evil 2 came out, and I think I had put my focus in that other game. But I'm coming back to Resident Evil 2 because I want to get ready for 3 and stuff. And I was just thinking of the original games, and I was just like, man, that came to my mind. And it, like I said, it may be because of the Dreamcast.
Yeah, and see, and I liked 1 a lot.
Yes.
But the thing is like 2 just had done so much more with the whole, like with the characters like following you more and stuff like that, and like that's why I had really gotten into that. And then it was kind of more of the same in the original in 3.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of more of that, but it was a little bit different. But I think that this remake of it is gonna make it even better. Like I could see it being, like really it's the only thing that I could think of that could ever come out that would compete with the remake of 2 for me, because like just the original Resident Evil from 0 all the way through up until 4. I just loved like all of them. Yeah, some of them I didn't like as much, but they still were good. Like I'll be honest, like the only ones that are similar to the originals but still different that I still don't really care for is the new one that's that was the 2-parter one. The one that was on I think it's on Switch and on maybe it was on 3DS as well.
Revelations.
Revelations. Yeah, Revelations okay. Or whatever it was called.
Those games are all right.
Yeah, they're okay, but I don't like the pace that it sets with where you have to scan everything. It kind of slows the pace of everything down, and I didn't really care for that part. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was just that mechanic. I could have did without that whole scanning mechanic. Like if they would have just made it more about like the original ones where it's just a matter of going around solving puzzles. Because I don't know, it just felt like busy work, like stuff that just kind of was thrown in there to extend how long it took for it or whatever. But so I never really finished any of those because I just got so bored with how you had to like scan all the slime or whatever, dead bodies or whatever all the time and all that. I just couldn't get into it. It just kind of slowed the pace way too much for me.
I kind of want to do a Resident Evil run. Probably play because I got them across all 3 platforms in the world. I don't got none of them on Switch, but I got most of them I think on Xbox and PS4. I think I'm gonna do a run of them and play them all and just see how see what they are, because I just picked up Resident Evil 6 and
that's the only one I don't own is 6.
That's so crazy.
I own all of them.
Like once Resident Evil 3 comes out, I mean, Code Veronica is not available yet, which I honestly think that might be the next one they remake. Honestly, but this is gonna be the first time the whole series is playable on one console. I mean, at least the numbered series. Even though I know a lot of people like the way the history of those games go is like PlayStation signed a contract with Capcom that before they released the games on any other platform, they had to release 3 numbered sequels on PlayStation platforms. So that's why Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 exist on PlayStation. But Code Veronica is actually the true sequel to 2 because, 3 is kind of like, it takes place kind of at the same time, a little bit before, a little bit after, or whatever. Like, it just kind of takes place around the same time, and like, Code Veronica is like the true, like the game that advances the story, right? But it was, I think it was released as a Dreamcast exclusive at first.
It was.
So like, because they wanted to expand the franchise off of the PlayStation, and Dreamcast was promising some stuff, and then we got the GameCube remakes and whatever. But like, I just think it's kind of cool that this is the first time you can play the whole series on a modern console. 0 through 7 now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Code
Because Switch is the
Veronica was good. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked it, and I got it right away on Dreamcast when it
I
came out.
yeah, it was the camera angles that got me with that game. Yeah, because the camera angles messed up the controls at times, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I just so much can't do this.
I just
But-
didn't play it because it was scary. So
But we're gonna get into some gaming get downs. Jesse, I'm gonna start with you. What games have you been getting down?
do you just not like me, Ed? Do you just never want to start with me? I'm just
I like to savor the
Nope.
moments.
Nope, I get it. No, I get it. It's cool. I don't want to talk about games I've played anyway.
Okay, well then we'll skip them after I'm done. So I've really only been playing like 3 games technically. I've went back to Division 2, like, and you know, me and you, we played a little bit the one night. But I've been playing that mostly, and just kind of progressing through the story and enjoying it a lot. Like, I like that game. You know, there was some, you know, there's some parts that got a little difficult, but I've been playing the story stuff and I haven't had like an issue at all with anything. So yeah, I mean, it's been fun and I've been doing just fine. That, and then I've been playing like yesterday and today a little bit, and the day before that, actually, the last 3 days, I've been playing Cuphead, going back to that and enjoying that and sucking at that. And so, but because I like when I jumped on, I surprised myself because like the first level that I was playing, that I played when I came back to it, was one that I was having a really, really hard time beating last time that I played. And I jumped in and I think I died twice, and then I beat the level, like, you know, on the 3rd try. And I'm like, what the heck? Why did I just like beat that so easily this time? And I had such a hard time last time. And I even played it on normal. And you know, the normal mode, so it wasn't easier or anything. And I'm like, that's weird. And so now I'm stuck on the one that I've been playing on right now. That's like, it's like where there's you have these things that you got to parry, and then it flips you and makes you go. You can either walk on the ceiling or walk down on the ground. And when you parry those things, it will, you know, switch back and forth, because there's this line of cartoon car things that come on either the top or the bottom.
Yes.
And so you got to parry that and then quick flip over to the other side, and then these duck things come at you. And like, I know what I need to do to beat the level. It's just like there's always like a part where I just make like a really bad mistake, and like, because you've got to, in that level, you basically got to try to get through most of it without getting hit. If you want to survive the end part, because there's this part that's really difficult where this like there's these tuba characters, and you have to hit them like a couple of times with your power-up shots to kill them. But they start blowing the words like honk or something like that, and it like fills almost the whole screen. So you've got to be in just like this one area so it doesn't hit you. But on the part that I always get to and I have a hard time with, there's the parry thing to flip you like from the other side back to the other side down below from up above, where he shoots the words. It's like it's right next to the platform, so you've got to hit like parry so fast, and it doesn't always hit it right. Yeah. And so it's really difficult, because that's the only one that you can hit to try to fall back down quick to miss the words from hitting you. And so it's just, but if once I can get past that part, it will be smooth sailing after that. But
it's just for the listeners and those who are seeing this listeners. Cuphead will make you do multitask, and you got to be quick. It pulls no punches. If you want to know like a boss rush game, that is definitely one of this of. You have to multitask, and it's funny because the 2 to 3 minutes that it takes to beat a boss feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. Dude, I told you what my because you can map your buttons to whatever you want, and I'm telling you, man, I swear by it. The best way to map your buttons for that game is have the right trigger, your shooting trigger, and then the left trigger be your dash, and then A for jump and B to do your power move. Like that, because then that way, like when you're doing stuff, like you can do these things really quick and you're not having to fumble, because your fingers are always here then, and so when I have to do this, I push that button. When I have to do that, because otherwise, if you leave it on the regular buttons, it's just it takes way too much effort because you got to do it in a split second, a lot of the times.
It literally depends on how advanced in Contra and on the Nintendo, Super Nintendo you are with those controls. In a sense, because if you're used to Contra controls, people will probably may have set their buttons to Contra controls. Not saying you have more first-person shooter mechanics, so the way that you play is in that design, which is fun, which is great.
I just play where I can have a finger on every button at like instantly. So I don't have to think about like moving my finger to X. By the time you're on your way to moving your finger to X, I've already pressed it.
Yes.
Like see, like that's the thing is like I had to have it where like there was no lag of input. Like I was pushing the button I needed to push it the second that I needed to without having to think about it, So yeah, like I don't know, I just found that way to be the best way to do it, and just because then like it's kind of this. It was the same thing with when I used to play frequency or amplitude. Like when you're having to hit buttons really quickly in a rhythm, you don't want to have to be like fumbling your thumb, like to try to push the face buttons. You want to have a finger on each button so you can hit them like right when you need to, and that's ultimately that's where that my setup for Cuphead comes from. Honestly, is my setup for amplitude or frequency. Because I used to have like the far left button on the trigger or whatever, or it would have been the bumper, and then A was the middle, and then my other bumper, the right bumper, was the right button. Because on frequency you had the three buttons that you had to move and then do between the three buttons to do the combinations to play the different parts of the music. And so that's kind of where that comes from, is just because it's so much faster to do it that way now that I think of it, because that's pretty much what I had my setup for those games was to have it where I could have a finger on each button all at the same time. So
okay, and what's your third and final game?
My third and final one is I played a little bit of Blackout, or I've been playing Black Ops a little bit. So yeah, I haven't gone back to Modern Warfare. Well, I did, I guess. I think last weekend I did play a little bit, but the thing is I've just been wanting to play Blackout lately. Play some battle royale stuff, and nice. Blackout's still my favorite. So
oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Corey, what games have you been getting down to?
I played a little bit of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and then I play that game before I go to bed, right? And it's just like not the time I want to be like really reading a lot and thinking about what's happening. And not that Tokyo Mirage Sessions is extremely difficult to like play. It's almost like baby's first RPG. Like I really feel like Pokemon is like baby's first RPG, and then you move up to Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and then you move on to like the more difficult ones, right? But like I think the thing that turns me off about that game the most is that, and I know a lot of people like this, especially in people who watch anime and stuff, but like the whole thing is subtitled and there's no English voice acting, and like it just really takes me out of the experience, right? It just really takes me out, and I wish it didn't, but it does, and it just I don't know, man. I want to love this game so much, and I do to like there's a certain point where like I do love the game where it's like, oh man, the Fire Emblem characters are here, like the RPG mechanics are cool, and like it's really flashy, and the music's awesome, and the cutscenes are really beautifully done, right? But like I don't even know what the main character's name is because they pronounce it like 3 different ways in this game, and it's all in Japanese, and I just can't understand it, and it just really takes me out, and it puts like a smudge on this game for me, on a game that I actually really enjoy. So like I don't know, maybe just like during the day I'll just sit and play with headphones on, but it's I'm trying to push through it because like it is a really cool game, right? Like I do like it. It's just like the Japanese stuff is just taking me out of it, and so I don't know. I'm gonna push through it because I do like the game a lot, and it's a game that I think deserves to be played. It's when I'm tired and don't want to think about stuff, and it just takes me out of it. But I have also been playing a little bit of Darksiders Genesis on Switch, and it's okay. Like it's how I feel about Darksiders as a whole. Like it's a series that I really, really want to love, and then you go to actually play the games, right? Like I think the character designs are cool. I think the horsemen are cool. I think the lore behind the game is awesome. I think the character designs are awesome. It's just the actual act of playing the games is just like you get in there and you're like, this is okay, right? Like it's a total 7, right? From 1 to like 1 was a very okay version of Zelda mixed with old school God of War, right? Like that was fun. And then, I mean, it was fine. Like 1 was fine. I enjoyed the experience, but it's not like on a top 10 list or anything. 2, they changed it a little bit. They made it more of a Diablo-like game from the third-person perspective instead of isometric, and like it was an okay version of that, right? Like it was okay. And then 3 was the Soulsborne version of Darksiders, right? Where like everything was very deliberate, and you fought 1 or 2 enemies at a time, and you had to like make sure you knew what you were doing. And like to me, that game was like the most striking and the most visually impressive game in the series. But it's still like the combat was fine, like the bosses battles were fine, right? Like it didn't really feel polished, and like some of the world, like after playing 1 and 2, you go into 3, and like the world kind of feels empty, right? Like Ed, I know you've been playing that too. Like it just felt empty, and like to me, this feels like a top-down version, twin stick version of that, where it's like, okay, you get to these set pieces that are kind of cool, and like the combat is kind of like, I mean, it's a twin stick shooter. Like it feels okay, and it has like cool melee stuff, but then you just go through these big stretches of area where it's just empty, right? It's just like they're just paths to get to the next thing, and like it's just fine, right? And I this was the one I was actually looking most forward to because I'm like, okay, Battle Chasers was cool. It was a cool RPG, right? Like a top-down RPG made by Airship Syndicate, and this Airship Syndicate is like when THQ kind of folded. This team made their own studio, and this is the team that actually made Darksiders 1 and 2. I'm like, okay, maybe if they put their Battle Chasers, kind of thought process into this, and it's a top-down game, and they know Darksiders in and out, right? Joe Mads is directing it. Like, maybe there'll be some sort of like course correct for Darksiders, because it's been on the cusp of being good for a long time. And introducing the fourth horseman, like, this is cool, right? It just feels empty, man. And you get to these battles where like okay, as you travel along these things, like little enemies pop up here and there, and like you take them out, right? And you can switch between strife and war too if you're playing by yourself, right? Like, that's a cool thing, where war is definitely way more up close, and you know, instead of guns, you have like a whip that you can pull people in and melee them, and like strife has a cool melee attack, but he's really more used for long range stuff, and you can switch between them and really do some cool combination stuff there, right? But like, when you fight the little enemies and then you get to a moment that's supposed to be kind of like a bigger moment, it just feels like they resized the small enemies to make them bigger, right? It's just a bigger version of that enemy, and then maybe they add like one thing to it to make it not that small enemy, just bigger, right? And I don't know. I'm only like an hour and a half of it into the game. I've been sneaking into like a fortress, right, to try to take it down, and it's okay. Like, it's just an okay experience, and that's just what you're gonna get from Darksiders, right? And like, unless you're like, I know Insipid Ghost really loves Darksiders. Like, he's been talking it up on Twitter a lot, right? And I get it. Like, I get the appeal of Darksiders, right? Like, it's a franchise I want to love as much as he does, right? But like, it's just not there, right? I wish they would, like, I don't know. I wish somebody would just give them a budget and just make like a their vision of what they want the game to be, right? And it's just not there. So
you still need to get to Remnant, because Remnant, you know, is basically, it's like the same. It feels the same as Darksiders 3, and a lot of the levels and stuff look similar to Darksiders 3.
Yeah,
but there's you know, like the areas that you go in, like, yeah, it will be like maybe empty in one little part, but then you go into like another area, and then there's just a whole like horde of, you know, kind of like, it's kind of similar to like what's it called, Sunset Overdrive, where there'll just be like a whole bunch of them will start rushing towards you, you know, and things like that, and it, like, it's more of a battle. Like, you're having to take on multiple guys, you know, like, you know, some of them move slower, like in Darksiders, and you can kind of like you know, pick your shots and you know, and melee the ones that you want to melee or whatever. But it is definitely a little bit more fast paced from what I've played of Darksiders 3. Like, because I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, Darksiders 3 really didn't feel like a bad game. It just no. Yeah, it's a good casual game if you're not looking to really be, you know, having to stress too much or whatever, you know, but I think the Remnant found a really good mix of what they did in Darksiders 3 and having like more of a challenge, and have like more enemies that you go against, and in some ways they kind of did do the same thing as Darksiders 3, where some of the bigger, like, you know, like boss type enemies are just a bigger, stronger, like a little bit different looking version, but those are usually just like more of like the tank versions. They have actual like actual bosses that are completely different looking. My last one that I went against was this big dragon that you fight and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, we still gotta get to that sometime and play that, because I think you'd enjoy that much more, because it's like a mix of basically of Darksiders mixed with Gears of War, like where it's more of a third person shooter, but you can do meleeing and things like that as well, you know, if you choose to. So
yeah, I mean, I do want to get to Remnant, but like, you know, I like you said too, like, Darksiders is it's a good series that I think just needs like it just needs that one game to push it over the hump. And like I think changing genres every time is like almost done a detriment to that game, because it feels like, you know, like you look at something like Assassin's Creed, right, where like that first game was like a unique proof of concept that didn't quite get there, but then they iterated in 2 and you know, Brotherhood and 4, and you know, some of the games after that just like really fleshed out what they wanted that game to be, and it became such a success, right? And and they're doing it again with Origins and Odyssey, and you know, assuming Ragnarok's going to do the same thing, right? Like I think if Darksiders just stuck with like that first game, I actually think the second game is better. I actually enjoyed the second game a lot more. But if they would have taken just like that genre and really moved with it, right? Like they're talking about doing like Darksiders 4. They are talking about Darksiders 4 and how it might be a first person shooter because Strife has guns. I'm like, it doesn't need to be a first person shooter just because he has guns, right? Like I want to see Strife in action. Strife to me looks like he should be fighting like Dante from Devil May Cry, like doing some super awesome hyper combos, and you know, maybe have a sword that you slice people up in the air with, or like maybe Darksiders 4 should be like, now that Genesis is out and they've introduced Strife finally to the mold, like give us that Remnant style game where you can play as the Horseman, right? And like let us go through, you know, maybe like the 7 layers of hell and take on these enemies, right? Like I think that would be really such a cool thing for Darksiders to do. And it's just I don't know, man. I think they want, I get that they want to like build a universe and say we don't want to stick to one genre of game because that's kind of boring, but like at the same time they're not really iterating on the franchise because they're doing a new genre every time, and they're not like building on that genre. So. Yeah,
well, that's what it almost feels like. Remnant is their the kind of project that they want Darksiders to be, and so like they just did like what they really would like to do with Darksiders, but it doesn't really fit with it maybe, and so then that's basically what Remnant, you know, is just basically like their idea of what they would like to be doing. But yeah, like you said though, that, you know, like the only time you can really pull off changing up like the gameplay with every installation is if you're really doing like the best version of that type of game with your product. But if they're not like going all in, it just hurts them in the end, because you won't, like, the whole idea of a game's usually, you know, most times is the first game that they come out with isn't usually, you know, always super great, and then you want to build on that and, you know, and make it better the next time around. But if you keep on changing it, it's like you're always forcing yourself to start from scratch again, and that's sometimes it's nice, but
that's why the second game in a series is usually people's favorite, because I think people look at a franchise, and even if it's like a 7 or an 8, right? If it's a first game in the series, I think people appreciate new ideas and new things, and then they expect the second, and like that's why a lot of games are trilogies, right? Where like they expect, okay, that first game was a cool concept, and then that's why people love Dead Space 2. That's why people love Mass Effect 2. That's why people love Assassin's Creed 2, right? Like all of these games do something that Darksiders is not, right? And so
it's building on the foundation.
Yeah, they build on the foundation. They provide you with the first game, and then they build and do cool newer ideas and bring it up. So, but Darksiders Genesis, I mean, if you want a twin stick shooter and you like Darksiders, honestly, I would wait for a sale. You know, I this was the first big game of the year I really wanted to try and play, right? And I'm kind of disappointed in it. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I probably will, just so we can do some game of the year stuff later down the road with it. But like,
yes,
it's not really what I want it to be. So, But other than that, I've played some new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
Nice.
I started a new game on that because I'm in the mood to play games that I haven't finished, right? Like the backlog challenge is I kind of have stumbled after the first two games that I played. I kind of stumbled, like I want to get to some of this stuff and I have a lot of games on my Switch loaded up and prepped for stuff like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker and New Super Mario Brothers and Bayonetta, and like I have a whole list of things. So I played the first world of New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe last night and or 2 nights ago, and it's just what a wonderful game that nobody played. Like everybody just, Ed and I were talking about it last night. Like New Super Mario Brothers U was a game that came out. It launched with the Wii U, right? That was the major. That was the big launch game for Wii U, and I think people look down on it because we had so many new Super Mario Brothers games within a 3-year span. I think we had within like a 4-year span, we had the DS game, the Wii game, the 3DS game, and then the Wii U game. Mm-hmm. And like that was so much new Super Mario Brothers in one span. Plus, like Virtual Console became bigger, and people were playing the old Mario games. Mario Maker was a success on Wii U, and we just had so much 2D Mario that people just wanted something different. And for it to launch with another 2D Mario game, I think people just overlooked it. And so, and I didn't really play those a lot of the stuff on Wii or Mario Maker or anything. So like New Super Mario Brothers U is just a delightful game. It is clever. Like the level designs are clever. The challenge is there. The suits are fun. Like the raccoon, the flying squirrel suit is awesome. Mm-hmm. The penguin suit is fun. The different things they do with the different colored Yoshis in this game are fun. Like the baby pink Yoshi that blows up is really funny. The castles are well designed. Like it's just a fun 2D Mario game, and I wish people would like. And I know like the art style is kind of tiring too because it's been used in so many Mario games now, and I wish like whatever 2D Mario they do next, they kind of look at Yoshi's Island or Super Mario World or even the NES ones and take inspiration from that to do a new 2D art style. But like it's such a fun game. So so I've been playing that as well. So nothing on Xbox or PlayStation. It's just not enough time, and I've been trying to cram a bunch of stuff in before vacation, and so. But yeah, how about you, Ed? What are you playing, Ed? How long is your list this week?
It's not too long. So, like you mentioned, Darksiders Genesis, played a little bit more of that. Been diving a lot into Tokyo Mirage Session. Just got I'm in the mission now, about to go into chapter 5. So right now I'm doing side quests. I got a lot of grinding to do. I got to get my other characters up to the 40s. Like maybe 2 of us are in our 40s right now, but I gotta, hopefully get them up so when we get to the next chapter and the next boss fight, because I've been getting my tail kicked for some of the boss fights, and I'll be like, I almost got them, and then I'll die. I'm like, dang it. But yeah, I've been playing this with my Genkai with my headset, and also just want to show these are the ones, Turtle Beach ones, Jessie and Corey, that I got.
Nice.
And they switch like kind of like that. They go like in and out.
Nice.
So I'm probably gonna try to get them connected to my Switch for my Genkai, because it saves 2 headsets. So when I put it in, I'll sync this one and that one, and they'll be like, okay, we recognize the Xbox Turtle Beach ones, and then play it on. Been using my Turtle Beach headset for my Xbox One. Love them. Played Penny Punching Princess, started that up. Didn't get too far in it yet. I'm only in the trial, but I played a little bit of it and then I turned it off because I was getting sleepy on the train. So I was just like, this is not going to do at this time. Played a little bit of Devil May Cry 3 on Nintendo Switch. It unlocked, and I was so excited. And this is kind of created our discussion. And it's an okay game. It's not bad. But I think once again, DMC Devil May Cry has ruined me playing those games in a sense because of how fast paced the action is and how good the combo system and changing up the weapons and stuff is in that game. It's kind of difficult going back. I am playing in free roam for Devil May Cry 3, and it really is good doing the trickster and the swordmanship and all of the gunslinger and choosing different styles on the fly. It really is good. It really works well. But man, it looks so dated. I'm like, oh my goodness, this game looks. Yowzers, this is on like WWE 2K20 kind of graphics. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look polished. It doesn't look good. But I mean, this is a PlayStation 2 game, so what did I expect or anything? So, but I can't wait to play more. Hopefully, I'll learn more of the combo system and how things work. Right now I'm at like an ice dog that I gotta fight, and I think once I beat him, I think I get my ice chucks. So I can't wait to play more of it. For Xbox One, played some more of the Division 2. Like Jessie said, me and him played some, had a good time. I started the Black Tusk doing some of the levels and everything. And I'm kind of at the hotel. It's kind of like the first level that you start in the regular game, which I also bought for PS4 for $3. I just went ahead and bought it. On that system too, just like, you know what, I'm gonna try to play this game in a different way and see if I could, you know, the way that I played it in the first time, I wonder if I could do it different the second time on another platform. So I might just start inviting like random people to play the game with me and see what happens. I'm interested to see what goes on, but pretty much that's what I've been playing. I think I'm gonna jump back to my PlayStation 2 and finish up Crank. Dang, what is that game? Knack. Sorry. Yeah. Knack. Ukulele Impossible Lair, and I'm going to continue playing Yakuza Kiwami because me and Corey was playing that, and I'm like, I'm going to return to this world and finish this game, Kiwami, because I love Yakuza 1. And then while that is happening, I am going to start Control on Xbox One or continue my process on that. And downloaded Call of Cthulhu. It was free on Xbox Live Gold, and Battlefront was free also for the regular Xbox. So those games, they downloaded to my Xbox One, so I'm going to give those a try and probably talk about them next time. But those are the games that I've been getting down to. Sorry if the list seemed long. Just trying to move it along. We're going to get into these news bits. Just got two quick stories for you guys. Eli Roth is set to direct Borderlands movie. The story comes from Game Informer. It says Borderlands is coming to a movie theater near you, and it has some big names attached to it. The upcoming film, which Lionsgate teased 5 years ago, will be directed by Eli Roth. It's based on the script from Craig Mazin, the writer behind The Hangover Part 2 and HBO's Chernobyl miniseries. Gearbox president Randy Pitchford, who is also an executive producer on the project, revealed Roth's involvement in a tweet, in which he also said more info was coming in a week at PAX, which is next week. He says, "I am so excited to dive into the world of Borderlands, and I could not be doing it with a better script, producing team, and studio," Roth said in a statement. "I have a long, successful history with Lionsgate. I feel like we have grown up together and that everything in my directing career has led to a project of this scale and ambition. I look forward to bringing my own energy, ideas, and vision to the wild, fun, and endlessly creative world of the game. Randy Pitchford and everyone at Gearbox have been incredibly supportive of my ideas. It really feels like a perfect storm of creators coming together. We are out to make a new classic, one which the fans of the game will love, but also one which will find new audiences globally." Why do I feel like Randy Pitchford is going to be in this movie doing magic tricks as the intro? As the cold open.
Hopefully he makes himself disappear.
I mean, hopefully this movie will disappear because it's never coming out. Let's be honest.
Eli Roth is a good director. He makes some great horror movies. So I see.
This is the first of probably 10 directors that will be attached to this movie and then never come out. Just like the Uncharted movie, just like the BioShock movie, just like the Gears of War movie. Like just stop. Let's just. Yeah.
Was you guys going to see it?
No, I don't. I haven't even played Borderlands, so why would I go see the movie? I don't care.
Yeah,
and
even I don't care about Borderlands.
Even if I was going to play Borderlands, it's definitely not because I'm intrigued in the massive story they're trying to tell. Right? Like it's just you play for the guns and the dumb, stupid stuff that happens in the game. You don't play for the story, right? It's just, yeah.
All I need for Borderlands is the the poker game that's got all the characters from their different games or whatever. The like that's good enough for me. Just playing that game, and then it's got Gladys in it and Claptrap, and because I'm actually one of the few people who actually likes Claptrap.
Well, I know. I just hope it's not Mad Max, in that kind of style. Like, of course, it's going to be comedy. Of course, it's going to probably deal with the vault. I think I'm definitely going to go see it because I want to see what Eli Roth brings to the table. If it's going to have, I'm going there for like the shots and choreographed action. I want to see all of that. And see what he brings to the table. If it literally feels like bland Borderlands game
campy.
or
just a campy Borderlands.
Yeah, and it's kind of boring and like all the comparison to Mad Max gets in, it's gonna be like, oh man, you had a top tier director making this, like. Come on now, like, and I believe Eli Roth would do a good job. I just don't want Randy Pitchford's hand in a lot of this stuff. Like, I understand Gearbox and them really want to. Hopefully, this movie is successful, but I really don't want his hand in this. I want Eli Roth and his team to really bring something to this movie.
Yeah, for me, obviously, it would really depend on like if it actually does come out, if we actually see something from it first. And even then, let's be honest, I don't go to the theater to see movies that I want to see, so it would be a movie that I would wait until it like comes to Netflix or something.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, it'll probably be on Netflix probably 2 months after the movie comes out.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't know why, like something like that. I'm almost surprised they didn't just try to do some, like make a deal with like Netflix or something like that and just release it like directly to there. Because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of people even that like those games, I feel like have dropped off of it. Because like, I mean, I loved the first game but I kind of fell off of it like after that. Like I just recently got the second game because it was on sale and it was like really super cheap, but I still haven't played it. And there's already a third one out. So yeah, I don't know. Like I was hoping for more with those games, and they didn't really give me what I was looking for. So,
well, we're gonna move on to the next story. Biomutant's developer update hints at a release date. They stated on Twitter, "We know many of you are wondering if the game is still in development. Let us assure you that we've never been working harder and more focused on it than now. We are doing everything we can to make this the best game that all of us have ever worked on, and that it will be as entertaining and great as we can possibly make it. We can only hope for your continued support and patience as we complete the final stages of its development. As some of you might understand, understand or know, the work involved in finishing the game is long, challenging, and unpredictable. The sheer magnitude, size, and length of Biomutant adds to said effort. We will reveal the release date as soon as everyone at our studio feels confident about hitting that day and that the game is ready for it. Again, thank you for your understanding and for your continued support and enthusiasm for our game. From us at Experiment 101.
I've said it before. I cannot wait for this game, and I'm perfectly fine with it taking their time to really make it, because like for what we've seen, like I think this game is going to be something really special. Like I honestly do. It just looks like such a cool concept, and just kind of like just the fact that they even like are going to let you like create your character and kind of morph them to look how you want them to look. And, like there's just a lot of cool things that it seems like they're doing with this game. And like, I'm really looking forward to
ever
it.
since I saw the trailer, I've been so young. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need this. Like, I love what they're going on with this. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be. I don't know if they shift things, whatever the direction they went to. I'm still in to support it, and I just really can't wait, because I feel like they've kind of got like a lot of customization going on. They're probably testing for bugs, making sure that the game is broke, because this is I think this is their first game, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
I don't think it's their first game.
Well, I think it's
because
like,
I never heard of this company. That's why.
Well, like, because I mean, I know it's a newer project, like, because obviously with what's it called, the studio that's THQ. With THQ, like kind of restarting back up, and now is something different, and they've really got their hands in a whole bunch of different things, like and I feel like they've really been delivering pretty good on things that they've released. Like Wreckfest came through them. If it wasn't for them, Wreckfest would still be stuck on PC probably. For THQ picked that up, they picked this up, like they've just been like picking so many really good looking projects up. So I don't know about that creator though, if they're a new
They are a new studio. Okay, so this studio was co-founded in 2015 by Goodbye Kansas Game Investments and Swedish game development veteran Stefan Lundqvist, a former studio art director and game director at Avalanche Studios, and one of the key members of the team behind Mad Max and the Just Cause series. Experiment 101's first game will be Biomutant, an action RPG for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows PC. Set in an imaginative post-apocalyptic universe, Biomutant is a kung fu fable filled featuring fantastical creatures to discover, dangerous factions to navigate, and a vibrant world to explore with mechs, paragliders, balloons, mounts, jet skis, and much more. Biomutant was expected to launch in 2019, though it was delayed for the studio to provide more polish, and will be published by THQ Nordic. It will be at the THQ Nordic booth at PAX East, PAX West, Gamescom, and more. So it seems like it's coming out later this year, like probably like second half of this year. So
yeah. Like if it's I feel like if it's a summer game, I'm all for it. Like
I mean, it'll probably be like I'm guessing like if it's coming in August, like I bet it'll come out like shortly after Gamescom. When is Gamescom? Like August? It's usually in August, right? Or end of July or something.
I think it may be August or September. I thought it was later. I think it's a month.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to look it up. don't know. But anyways, like
Because I wonder if it's over. Is it after Tokyo Game Show?
well, a lot of people think it might be coming to Switch also, and that was part of the delay, so they could polish the game and then have a proper studio kind of help port it, and it come out alongside the other versions of the game. So I don't know. We'll see. I think this game looks unique. It's different. The character creator they showed off was really awesome. This, I don't know if you guys watched trailers of this game or not, but Jesse, this game actually looks like something right up your alley. And it's I think it's co-op. Like we could play it together. Like I think it just looks really awesome. So.
Yeah. I've been following this game since it was announced. I've been constantly checking on it and looking for updates since it's been announced, because like Ed said, right away the second I seen this game, I knew that it was going to be something special, and I've just really have been patiently waiting for it to come out. So yeah, I've been watching like videos and playthroughs of the original demos and things like that. It just looks amazing. It's like definitely one of my most anticipated games.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Biomutant's cool. I'm glad there's. I mean, I knew they were still working on it. It's not like I don't know what. Like I know we're talking about it because this story came up, but like I don't know why this is such like a big news story that this game's still in development. They said they were still in development. THQ said it at like an earnings call like a couple months ago. Like I don't know. I'm glad it's still in development. I'm glad they're polishing it. I'm glad they wanted to make the best game they've ever made, because like a lot of people love Just Cause 2 and 3, and a lot of people love Mad Max, and so I think this game could be really impressive, honestly. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people never planned to get a release date anytime soon. A lot of people were just wondering, what happened to it, because it kind of went into, the closet, and just like people was wondering about updates and stuff, because what they showed off was so impressive that people like us, we can't wait to play it. So we were just wondering why it hasn't got coverage or anything. And I think now we know that they like, hey, we've been finishing on this game. Working on this game to finish it up and make sure that when it comes out, that you guys do pick it up and you do play and enjoy it. You really as them, they feel like it's a lot of pressure on us as a team, but we really want to make a big impression with our first game coming out. We don't want to release something and it's disappointing, or just like, okay, that was cool, and then people forget about it and move on. They really want to make an impression, be like, we are a studio who are really creative and very passionate about games and what we work out. So hopefully this game that we put out will showcase that our passion and love, and that you will continue to support us in the following years to come with our projects. And if even if Biomutants, I feel like it's an 8.5 or 8, or it doesn't hit that plateau that it should hit with people, I still think it's going to be a game that's going to be on a lot of people must have. Like this delay, or like this little update hasn't stopped people's interest into this game. People are still wanting. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, well, it's a good problem to have, obviously, because that means it made a good impression with people, and for people to be wondering and wanting updates is always a good thing. That means people are interested. So I think that's basically all this was, is they're trying to go on every platform that they can to try to let people know that, hey, we're still in the process of making this game, and yes, you have to wait a little bit yet, but we promise it's gonna make up for it.
I feel like to me personally, it's a day one purchase, without a shadow of doubt. And if it does come to Switch, I'll double buy it. I'll double dip. But we're gonna get into this boss rush discuss. So I mentioned playing Devil May Cry 3 and how DMC Devil May Cry 5 4 I mean DMC Devil May Cry, sorry about that, has kind of made it hard to go back and kind of play that game. So I present it to you guys. Is it harder to go back to an older game due to a modern title in that series? Or is there a particular game that makes it difficult to revisit other titles in that genre?
Oh boy. Man, the first thing you said, like the first games that came to mind was Halo, right? When you play like anything after 3, like when you play Reach or 4, like even going back to Reach is super hard, but anything after 4 where it just kind of feels more like a modern shooter, right? With like the sprint buttons and aim down sights and stuff, like it's really, and even the weapon kickback, right? Like if you go back to Halo 1, there's no weapon kick. There's no weapon kick in on those weapons whatsoever. And like you can pretty much just like stare straight and shoot someone and hit them and they're dead, right? And so like that's kind of the first game that came to mind. But then you go to other games, like you look at something like Titanfall compared to Borderlands, compared to Modern Warfare, compared to even within Call of Duty, like you would have like World War II. You look at the last few games that came out, like Black Ops and World War II and Infinite Warfare and now Modern Warfare, like they're all so incredibly different, and even though the mechanics, like the button layouts and stuff are the same, like a lot of the way the games feel and the mechanics of the games are different. And so, you know, I know Jessie would have more to say on that, but like, you know, there's a lot of nostalgia at play for games that you love, and then you go back to play them and you're like, wow, this game is not the best it could be, right? Like one example would be, I think, Metroid Prime, right? Like,
yes,
I love that game, but you know, a couple, like maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago, I hooked up my GameCube and played a few GameCube games on a Let's Play on one of the YouTube channels, and like just having to play a first person shooter with one stick instead of two was extremely difficult, right? And you know, even something also like Resident Evil 4, where you can play a third person shooter with one stick is difficult, right? And it's really hard to go back to some of those games.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the Metroid Prime, because like literally after playing Prime, it was kind of hard to even play first person shooters for me, because on how easy the lock on was. I was able to just like get comfortable with Metroid Prime's control scheme, and it was just like, man, playing that and then trying to play Halo and stuff, I was just like, I know they're two different games and everything, but why does Metroid Prime's controls feel so well with me? Why does it fit? And then it's just like started playing like future games like Medal of Honor, the Medal of Honor series, playing Call of Duty and using the analog stick. It was just like trying to go back and play earlier 2000 games when you have got attached to modern first person shooters. It's just like, why is this thing not scanning? Why am I have to put in the camera, the R stick in? Why I gotta push that down to zoom in? You really just like, wow, I have gotten comfortable with these controls, and because my hand and my mind is just like, it's so used to doing the new stuff, it's not used to playing the old stuff anymore. So I have to relearn those controls.
Yeah,
it's so weird. But like Metroid Prime, regardless of which one I'm playing, I could always go back to that and be like, oh, this is just this Metroid, and I love these controls, and it's like it clicks.
Yeah. For me, like, like I didn't really get into a lot of the earlier, the earlier versions of like, the Nintendo games like Zelda and all that. I never really got into the top down like RPGs during that time, so I really didn't play much of those. So like, for me, that's why like it wasn't until Ocarina of Time really that I actually like really got into the Zelda, games, because it being in that 3D stuff and like, being more like that,
Mhm.
like then I was more interested in it. And it's the same. I did play the originals quite a bit, but like after Grand Theft Auto went to the third person stuff, I could never go back to the top down original Grand Theft Autos where it was all you're looking above at everything. I just couldn't do that anymore. Like stuff like that is like more like the things that I would have to have issues with is just where it's been modernized so much that those original games just are just completely lost in time for me.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like there's a lot of games that like it's hard to go back to because like you just prefer the other way better, like
Mario Kart for Super NES is a good one too.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
like, it was cool at the time.
Honestly, any Mario Kart before 8 is extremely difficult to go back to now. Even like Mario Kart 64 is hard to go back to for me. Double Dash is probably
Double Dash is easiest one to go for me. It's hard for me to get into like the new Mario Karts, and probably because of Double Dash.
Well, I was gonna say like Double Dash is probably the easiest to go back to in terms of the old Mario Karts from 8 because it feels pretty similar. But like, the Wii one is atrociously difficult to go back to because of the steering, right? Like, I know you can play that game with a pro controller or a classic controller, right? But it's still like. Yeah. Oof, boy, old games are like really hard to go back to sometimes, and even something as iconic and as amazing as Super Mario Brothers, the original one, is like even after playing 3 or World or as they made the transition to 3D, that first game is extremely difficult to go back to.
Just even the fact that you can't go back in the first one.
Yeah.
Once you go forward, you're stuck there. Like that. Even that was a big change of being able to go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, and like as much as I appreciate the original Super Mario Brothers, right? I played the crap out of it when I was little, right? Like I love that game, but like just going back is like the physics feel different, like the floaty jump that you can't go back, just a lot of the things within the game are just like they've iterated and changed so much of it that just like it feels bad going back to it. I love the level design. I think the level design is incredibly smart. If you don't jump over that Goomba at the beginning, you're never progressing. Like that's just, it teaches you so many things within the first world, and it's just hard to go back to sometimes.
And the reason why, it's because of Saints Row 3 and Sleeping Dogs, going back to the Grand Theft Auto series is hard for me. Like those two have taken the open world and they did their own thing. They mixed some other things, but something about the control, something about the gameplay, something about it clicks and it's fun. It's not a struggle to play those games, and there's just something about some of the Grand Theft Auto games that there's something about them that's not polished, that's not smooth enough to enjoy those games. It's hard for me to go back to Grand Theft Auto 3. I love the soundtrack for that game, but it would literally be hard for me to go to that game because of playing some of their other games and stuff. Like I can't get into Fallout or the Fallout games, but exploring the world of Breath of the Wild, it's just like this is what I like about when games that really take you on an adventure and you have to explore and craft and stuff. When you feel like when you're playing it, you make your own goals. Fallout doesn't feel that way. There's just something about it that's just like, I don't know why this is not grabbing me. But in this kind of exploratory world, that me and Corey was talking about this yesterday. That we were talking about Stardew Valley. On my list, I mentioned Harvest Moon, Light of Hope that I'm playing on Switch. I've never played a farming simulator and stuff, but I enjoyed my time with that. And I got nothing against Stardew Valley. It just wasn't clicking with me. I have it on Xbox, and I'm going to return to it. And it's just like, I know Harvest Moon started this genre. I know Stardew Valley is recognizable and probably on everybody's, if it comes to a farm simulator game, that's probably everybody's top game on the list of doing it. But I'm just like, I should have gotten into Harvest Moon earlier and to understand it, because I am enjoying this game and I'm having fun and loving it. And I don't know why Stardew Valley is not clicking with me, in a sense. And it's very weird. It may be just up to us as individuals on what we love to play, what we gravitate to, and different games doing different things in that same genre, but sometimes doing it better.
Yeah,
And
I think part of it. I think part of it too is like, like now moving forward with these next consoles, I think we'll finally see, like when we're hitting, 1080p at 60 frames, or, as far as consoles go. I mean, PCs have been doing whatever for a long time now, but, I think that's another thing too, is like, not that a couple of years ago or whatever, I still had an N64, and I just went on one day and I tried playing 007, and man, is that a bad game. I don't know how we enjoyed it, but it's because that's all we had at that time. Like, like it drops down to like 2 frames a second when explosions go off and stuff like that. And it's like, how did we play this? How, like, when it's literally just freezing and it looks like someone hitting the pause button, every couple of seconds. Like, how did we enjoy this with the frame rate being so bad? But it's because now, like as generations go by and we get better and better technology, it makes it that much easier to see just how difficult and how hard it was to run some of those like more ambitious games back in the day, and how they didn't turn out as well as they would have if they were made today. But
yeah,
I mean, we enjoyed them then because we didn't know any better, but now, like, seeing what better graphics and better, like frame rates and stuff look like, like you don't realize that until then. So I mean, that's I think one of the big things is just going back, and when, a lot of those games that were so basic and just, trying to do a lot, and it was really hard sometimes for the consoles to run them at a steady frame rate, like, that alone is, for a lot of games, makes them difficult to go back.
Yeah. Even with some games within the series, like definitely playing like Mass Effect, playing 2, you really don't want to go back to 1.
Oh, jeez. I mean, like, I think, yeah, talking about Mass Effect, like, I think, like, 1 has the best story, I feel like, in the whole trilogy, right? Like, I really feel that way. Like, I think Saren is an awesome villain. I think I think the twist that the Reapers are, like, using him as like, their pawn is such an awesome idea. Like, it's just so cool, right? But the game, playing that game is just... it's like the halfway step between Knights of the Old Republic and Jade Empire and what Mass Effect 2 became. It's like that halfway step, and it's just like, this is not a good step. This is not a good step.
And it's weird because 2 felt like an overhaul in this gameplay.
I know,
with a lot of decisions.
The thing is with 2, though, like, I missed the customization of 1, like the different armors you could pick up and their different stats, and like, I wish Mass Effect, like, if they were to like redo the trilogy, right? Like, I wish they would use like the same engine, but really combine the customization aspects of 1 with the gunplay of 3, with like
Yes.
the you know, some of the unique things that happen in 2, and like really just flesh it out and make it all one expansive trilogy again.
Cohesive
Yeah,
trilogy.
because
Yeah. Man.
even like even 2 and 3 still feel different from each other too, for like a little bit,
Yes.
you know, like from the movement and the gunplay and stuff feel different. Like it feels like 3 built upon 2, but then, you know, 2 actually feels like a totally different genre than 1. So
Yes. Yeah, 3 has polish in this gameplay because I love to shoot it, and I love how just the way that when you're shooting somebody, you see that bar and their energy going down.
uh,
It makes it easier to know that when they're getting shot, their life is like really depleted. There's something about 3 in this gameplay that I'm just like, yeah, they need to put this in 1 because 1 was a struggle getting into that car, doing some of those missions, and oh, when it's a struggle to get through. But then you start playing 2, you just like 2. I love the cast of characters. Like
mhm.
I love like 2. Me and my friend when we was playing it, because when I was playing Mass Effect 2 for the first time, I was always running to and be like, why this character? Why did this story point happen? Why this? Why this? I love this character. I want to do this. And then I played 3, and I was just like, I love the series. I love BioWare. But then 1 was just like, this is a struggle of questionable content. Sorry.
Well, like, but it's weird because like when you played 1 for the first time, like it felt like it was supposed to be like an RPG and you had to build the skills
Yes.
up, right? But then you play 2 and 3, and then you try to go back to 1 because you want to play the whole series again with different decisions and see how different aspects play out. And like, because I did that, after I finished 3, before I even knew about like the whole ending controversy and stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I would like to go back to 1 and replay this whole trilogy and see how it changes, see what happens, see the different because there's hooks you can totally miss if you play the game differently. Like things just don't happen, or you know, different characters show up in certain scenes depending on who dies during your suicide mission, right? Like it just. Then going back to 1, and like I chose infiltrator instead of a soldier, right? Because like in 2, infiltrator had the best like extra skills, right? Like they had the stealth skill where you could turn invisible and like stealthing around, and even in 3, like you could stealth around and use that melee that they added, right? The assassination animation stuff, like. But in 2, like you could stealth around and use your sniper rifle and take people out as you were cloaked, and it was awesome. And it really helped in a lot of boss battle situations. So I was like, I'm gonna go back and play Infiltrator, dude. I struggled through 1 so bad that it almost deterred me from playing the rest of the series again. I was like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
this is just bad. But I especially like because in Mass Effect 1, depending on what class you pick. It automatically you just have the weapons that go with that class, as opposed to soldier where you get them all because you don't get any special skills. Infiltrator, you only get like the sniper rifle and the pistol, I think. And so like using the scope on the sniper rifle, this is your screen the whole time. And like you had to like line up the shot, and then as you progress, like you add skill points into the steadying your aim skill, and it like, you know, you were by the end you could like just aim straight on and have no problem. But it was boy, it was rough.
Goodness.
Fighting games too are some that can be hard to go back to.
Which one?
Like the first Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, I would say, like, just because, you know, there's like at this point there's so many more characters that have been introduced that you've, you know, like a lot of people have fallen in love with. And then to go back to those original games that only had like, you know, what, 8 characters or whatever, 6 characters to pick from, it's like, you know, like that part makes it difficult where there's just been so much, you know, so much that's been added, and so, you know, so many more interesting characters that have been added that you know, like, sure, you still got your Ryus or your Scorpions or whatever, but but you know, there's still a lot of really interesting characters that have come along that aren't in those original games.
And to add to that, Killer Instinct really changed the whole fighting genre with its combo system. Like,
Yeah.
like trying to play Killer Instinct definitely when it was at arcades. During that time, I played Killer Instinct a lot, and then trying to play Mortal Kombat 2 and SNK Fighters and Street Fighter. I was just like, I can't play this because it don't have that fast-paced combo system in it. Like I could maintain, but I'm just like, I'm going back to play KI because it was fun. Then Tournament Fighters is a separate thing because you started seeing more games incorporate combos in their fighting games, and it was just like, this is the future of it. Now look how we got Marvel, look how we got Virtual Fighters and the 3D fighters and stuff. That combos are important to a fighter. You only have one hit, you do one hit fighting stuff again, it ain't working.
Yeah.
It's just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fighting games are something I've never really gotten into because they are too difficult. I mean,
I've never been good at them, but I just enjoyed them during then. But it's just like that whole motion with my wrists. Like I have carpal tunnel in my wrists, so like playing games like that, I cannot do it anymore. It just like my wrists will like hurt like hell later.
Yeah. Man, my wrists hurt still anyway. Like they just like I'm feeling it, like just years of typing wrong or playing games wrong, or like it just I'm starting to feel it in my wrists, and it's I hope it's not serious.
Yes, I think the only genre that we don't have a problem with for a lot of us is, I think, puzzle games. I don't think we like playing Tetris. You still know the basics and you know the mechanics, and so the only thing they could do is just add on opponent or what's different, like Tetris 99.
Gosh,
or,
could you imagine if like
Tetris Effect?
If they just came out with like a new Tetris, like a sequel to Tetris, and it was just they added like one piece, and you're just like, oh no, how do you do this?
Oh, did they do Tetris 2? Wasn't there one?
There was Tetris.
Probably. There was also Hatris and
Retris.
Yeah, it's
just bring. I want Bubble back.
Oh.
I love Bubble.
Well, everybody, that is going to do it for our show. We want to know what games has been hard for you, or what series it's been hard to go back into, because modern games have like kind of evolved and changed gaming for you in general. We really want to know. You guys can email us at bossrushgamespro.com, and also if anyone wants to join us for the show, let us know. Hit up us on Twitter at boss_rush_games. We would love to have you on the show and collab and just have great gaming conversations with you all. For right now, Corey, go ahead and plug.
Oh, me first? Thanks, Ed.
Yes.
You didn't have to do me first now. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me at I am CoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram, and at CoreyNHD on Mixer and Twitch, but mostly Mixer. But also Twitch, but mostly Mixer. Always Mixer. Let's be honest.
Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me just about everywhere as Phantom NXS.
Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at That Venture Code. You can check Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. You can find me on Mixer at The Lyrical One, and on Twitch at The Lyrical One, but mostly, like Corey said, at Mixer. You can find me there. Yes. Jesse, show them again what you have. Do a little bit show it.
It's Pikachu dressed as Kakashi from Naruto, and I took the original Pikachu off of the amiibo thing and I glued this one on instead. So now I got my own unique Pikachu amiibo.
Yes, nice. So, and hopefully everybody is checking us out at bossrushgames.com and on our YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys are joining us on the community page on Facebook. We're trying to do our best to interact with you guys, and really, hopefully everyone is having fun with the backlog challenge. I kind of want to know what people's score is at, like what games they have finished and everything. Continue to watch Nintendo Pop Block, Arsenal X. And continue to watch Boss Rush Games and support us. With that, everybody have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
I want to have some ramen.